don't lose your kid. You'll live longer. Keep your kid about you. Go climb a tree. Go jump in the river. Go stand in the rain without an umbrella.
Master Don, 5th degree black belt that owns his own karate school, The Kickbox.
Who's gonna punk out? Nobody.
Owns a summer camp where he takes kids all around town, teaching them life lessons and how to live every single day to the fullest. He's a boutique farmer that fosters life and just shows his joy doing that. He's a musician, a creative person, and always living life to the fullest.
Raise a kid next door and another down the street.
Master Don is 60 years old, is a father of 4 kids, but he's really the father of thousands of kids. He embodies what it means to be the fulfilled being.
A human should accept whatever is on his or her path in life, good, bad, or indifferent.
How do you face them?
You heard what Bruce Lee said once before, right?
What did Bruce Lee say?
Never speak negatives about yourself. It's speaking it into existence. Keep moving positively. Keep moving forward.
Is there a technique that you have?
One of the keys to being successful in life, living well, being happy is...
We were camping. We went camping with the campers, the kids.
Summer camp.
And I remember me, you, and one of the dads, the night we were sitting around the fireplace, and he asked you, Don, you're amazing. What makes you you? What are some core principles of yours? And you pointed to your arm, and you have four Chinese, right? Is it Chinese?
Yes.
Characters. Mandarin. Characters on your arm. And the first one is truth.
Truth.
What does truth mean to you?
Well, I just believe that, a man, a human, should accept whatever is on his or her path in life. And acceptance of whatever is on your path, good, bad, or indifferent, there's a certain amount of truth in that to yourself and what you expel from that as you speak and move through your path in life. Truth to me is if I won the lottery on that path and I'm exuberant and happy and all my woes are satisfied on the path, well, if something not quite so exuberant and exciting and, life-changing for the positive is on the path, how do I accept that? I can't kick it off. I can't change it as it comes to me. So I have to be gracious with it and honest. It's mine. It belongs to me and no one else. So it's kind of how I conduct my life, how I move through life, and how I suggest folks move through their lives and on their paths as well.
How do you accept, because stuff happens in life, we all have challenges. I've firsthand seen you face very difficult challenges.
Yeah.
How do you face them?
Graciously, accepting. Again, it's mine. And I can't say that I've been taught this any more than I've watched a movie or two that had similar lines, beneficial lines. But I mean, it's how you weather the storm. You'll always get storms in your life, and you'll always get windfalls. It's up to you as a human being to accept both of them graciously, accepting them as yours. And you can only change the outcome of it,
Is gracious similar to gratitude? Or is it? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. certainly be thankful for all that you have on your path, good, bad, and indifferent. Well, at least that's how I like to think, I think, when I'm on my path and confronted with, challenges. But it may not go the way I like it right off. And that's the acceptance part of it, the graciously. I mean, I can be pissed off about anything, man. I mean, come on. But at the end of the day, perfect example. I like stories. Had my bike stolen the other day. In the midst of a beautiful day, I had my bike stolen. And I see the guy 2 blocks away riding on my bike. So I started running towards him, and I see him turn, and his posture suggested that he was successful in stealing my bike. And he never gave me the respect of looking back, because I caught him. And as I took my bike from him, I felt threatening towards him. I felt like whooping his ass, but I didn't, because I would have hurt him, and it would have spoiled my good day. So what I told him was, I'm not going to lay hands on you today because I got my bike back. And if I did lay hands on you and hurt you, it'd be because of the 5 other bikes that I didn't get back. So count your blessings. Take it how you want it. I could have, let that anger come out and dump it all on him. And he would have thought that it was because he stole my bike. But I got my bike back. And that's why I had to stop, realize where I was, and say, I don't want to tarnish what I've established for this day. So I got my bike back and I rode off happy. He went home without any scratches. Hopefully he won't take someone else's bike, though. I don't know if he learned that lesson. Yeah.
So in that moment, that anger is whelming up. You're feeling that anger. Is there a technique that you have that a listener can be like, they start getting angry, fearful. They're in that moment. They want to go and do whatever their mind is telling them. You have a technique that you use in that split second?
You, Evan, and everyone else call it technique. But it is a human thing that we all forget to do, and that is breathe. Not short, shallow breaths, but deep, meaningful, slow your heart rate down breaths so you can think for your next move, your next word. Breathing is my technique, sir. An experience. Man, I've fought so many times and I've jumped on somebody because he stepped on my toe. And as a young man, somebody stepping on your toe, you got something to prove, especially if they didn't apologize for it. So now someone steps on my toe, I'm going to look at them like they crazy. I'm not going to want to bop them, even if they don't say, I'm sorry for stepping on your toes. There's another way. I like to live long and prosperous while I'm on my path.
Breathing. Did you learn that from, so you're 5th degree black belt in Tang Soo Do?
Yes.
Did you learn breathing from your karate practice?
It's a part of it, yeah. but there's other, almost drowning when I was 9 helped me breathe, okay? Gosh, there's all kinds of things in life that'll remind you to breathe, because that is the key to slowing your heart rate down and making better decisions and moving better. If you don't breathe, you stumble, you fall, you falter. So I can't attribute it to one, although the martial arts in my life governs a lot of my moves. And certainly it helps with the breathing because I teach it. Along with the CrossFitness, breathing, posture. Little things in life really help us move better in life. Little things, breathing, posture. Look up sometimes. Not so much down into your cell phones.
So it's breathe, posture, look up.
Look up. Simple things.
I feel like, yeah, you're right. Nowadays, we spend so much time looking down at our cell phones.
Everything is a technique now. It's all complicated. Everything has an app. And you got to go through the sequences. You got to sync everything, right? Life is not that difficult, sir. We complicate things. I'm sorry, give me a number 2 pencil and paper, and I'm fine. I can get it done. I can draw you what you need. I can write it out. I can store that with a stick pin on my wall. Got a nice filing system. I mean, I use my phone and all the technologies and AI and such, but again, I think one of the keys to being successful in life, living well, being happy is, one, don't lose your kid, your inner kid. Don't lose your kid. Keep your kid about you. Go climb a tree. Go jump in the river. Go stand in the rain without an umbrella. Right? Don't lose your kid. You'll live longer. Also, get up early. The old adage, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man, woman, and child healthy, wealthy, and wise. I mean, there's a whole lot you can pull from that, but if you're thinking simply, go to bed early, get up early, exercise, eat breakfast, hydrate, make certain your posture's good when you're walking. Don't look down in your phone all day long or on the computer. Get up from your desk, change how you do things, and move a bit more. Get outside. Look up.
So much to unpack. Like there's,
oh my God,
there's a lot there.
I can say a lot, but it is so simple.
Yeah.
You don't need the internet to go figure that out. Read. I love to read a book, but you don't have to read a manual to figure out how to move through life well. You just don't. You live life. The mistakes are lessons, or they at least should be taken as such. Learn. Don't do it like that next time. Do it differently. Better.
Man, there's a lot to unpack in that. 2 things that instantly resonated for me was wake up early. That was one big thing that you said there.
Yes.
So yesterday, I slept in. I slept in an hour after my...
I did too.
Break the rules sometimes, right?
No, it's not breaking rules. You got to listen to your body. If you are freaking tired, I know for one, I could be freaking tired and keep moving because I know I have to. But just like computers, man, and all the technology that we feed ourselves, you got to reset. You got to purge. You got to do things to make your body better, because it gets all jumbled, and it gets jumbled in your mind. It gets jumbled in your arteries, and gets jumbled in your all the tubes and pipes. It gets jumbled.
So I was saying with the sleep in, for me, it wasn't because my body said, dude, you've just ran yourself thin on energy, right?
You snoozed how many times?
I snoozed, dude.
The button, I mean.
Yeah, so I was supposed to wake up at 7. I didn't set my alarm, so I woke up at 8, not the end of the world. I went and I meditated. I did my morning routine. Then when I was meditating, I was like, oh, I'm a little tired. I let myself go back to sleep while I'm there's like the discipline there, which is, dude, it's time to go.
But you're talking to you. You're talking to you. And you're asking. You're sort of diagnosing and figuring it out as you get up early. And that's what everything does, because that's when it begins. The bees start buzzing. The sun's coming up. Photosynthesis kicks in, and all the plants that have the beneficial chemicals drop down. So if you want to gather some of these beneficial foods, you got to do it crack of dawn, before the sun comes up. All the good stuff happens in the morning, early.
Dude, 100%. And I notice a huge difference in my mood depending on when I wake up and depending on what I do in the morning, right? If I have a plan and I have a objective where I wake up in the morning, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And I feel like you have that. You have this incredible routine that I think just keeps your North Star so aligned. Would you say that?
So you've heard the phrase, if you love your work, it's not work at all, right? So therein lies my blessing. My blessing is my livelihood is working out and sharing it with everyone in the morning, first thing. And then there's other things that I do, that I share, that is a benefit to longevity, to living well. And it's all simple stuff that we should all do. And if you can't do it because you feel like your day, you got to go to work and, you're in your day, then you got to create a time where you can connect to the earth, sit and work on your posture. You mentioned meditation. You find the time to do it. You're a busy guy, Evan, right? You find the time to meditate. You said you have a routine and a regimen.
Yes.
We all need routines and regimens. We all need them. It just depends on how your livelihood affects your movement. So if your livelihood dictates that you are working at 6 a.m. when everything is beginning, then your 6 a.m. has to be a different time. Create it. Make it such that you are getting an endorphin release, something beneficial and powerful for you to kickstart your beginning day, even if it's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
You got to have a regimen. You got to stick to it. Whenever you feel like you're tired, or your girl is nudging you, or your dog is even wanting you to walk them or something like that, and it affects this particular time that you need to balance, right? Your day, get that jolt, get that energy so that you can get through your day well. Do not let them distract you. You got to stick to it. And therein lies my blessing. I got to get up because I have people relying upon me to give them that same energy so they can start their day. Right? Every day. So if you're in corporate, like I used to be, I still manage some time in there somewhere, to create this regimen for my day, and that includes exercise. Got to get some sort of exercise. Get your heart rate up. It's important.
It's awesome how you have structured and created your life to give you this like sense of purpose and energy where you get to wake up in the morning with your purpose to help others get energy. And it's inspiring. And I feel like so many people are afraid to like listen to that inner voice. And I feel like you're really good because you didn't always have things this way.
No,
they weren't always this way.
See, you use the word structure. Mm-hmm. Like I structured it like this. No, bro. Heck, nothing comes easy. And I'm a believer in, the land, the sky, the universe, the birds, everything has this connectivity, right? And you got to be able to listen to, maybe it's a language, I don't know, but listen to the universe or an omen, or they're always there. It's always there. And it's hard to see them. It's hard to, as you say, structure my life so that I can get up at 6 a.m. and work out and give it to everybody, right? No, man. It's like, I don't know, maybe a stone was cast and I'm going straight. I got green lights straight down. Matthew McConaughey, green lights, right? and somebody throws a rock or something in the street and I got to veer, right? And so as I veer, there's a little side road that I have to travel down because there's no way to get back on the main road. All the green lights are over there. I can't, right? So I'm on this side road. What does that mean? I got to deal with what's on this side road right now. It's still on the big path of my life, but on this side road, now it's dictating, I got to do this if I want to make some money. I got to do that if I want to stay in this nice house. It's variables in life that dictates that structure. You know what I mean? Variables dictate structure big time.
So creating your lifestyle, your income in martial arts, in inspiring kids, and transitioning from corporate world to that, was that a side road? Was that it was just kind of like it just happened, or was it a thought?
I
like
mean,
how did that transition happen?
I mean, I'm full on into my career, and with my then family, we start a business, and the business included martial arts and dance. And so I took the martial arts class, and as I took the martial arts classes and advanced, my instructor who taught me all that I knew got into some trouble. So there's that side road, so that meant Don Justice, the red belt with 15 students, had to continue teaching these 15 students and also command the respect a teacher of the martial arts would get with peers, or not really peers because I'm not a black belt yet. But I would have to take that black belt energy and me not being quite a black belt yet and owner of and teacher of a karate school. I mean, that's a side road that I had to endure and had to make it, I had to plant flowers as best I could along the sides of it so that I could, be comfortable being there on that road as best I can.
Did your intuition tell you when this happened, like this is a side road that I want to go down? Like, was your intuition telling you like
Again, see, you're saying Don Justice structured his whole way.
Yeah.
No, sir. I didn't want to teach class because I didn't really know how to teach class. I hadn't gone through the processes of being a martial arts karate instructor. But fortunately, I could get in front of folks and talk and show them what I do know. And I immersed myself in martial arts to learn it. So it was an easy transition with my students, but for years, a difficult transition for soon-to-be peers in the martial arts. So structure came with quite a bit of disarray or lack of direction. Knowing my direction was all without any light shed on it, traveling on the path. And I had to make my way as best I can. Again, I inherited a school. So, and it was quite by misfortune, not on me, but misfortune on my instructor, that happened. And so it was a lot of variables that I had to contend with in moving forward in that. And I'm still here 30 years later. I'm still here. It takes a long time to become an instructor of the martial arts because of the discipline. And because of what it is, you're going to get rocks and darts and arrows and knives and all kinds of things thrown at you regularly. It's what's supposed to happen so that you will know how to share it with students. Because being a martial artist and a teacher of the martial arts, man, there's some disciplines that, the layman human walking his or her path wouldn't have to experience, wouldn't have to deal with. It's a different realm. I appreciate where I am. And it goes back to, this is what I love. This is my livelihood. And it's created a good path, and it's wide enough that I could have a bunch of people walking on it with me.
So it's so amazing how that came. And I feel like we all get presented with these sorts of paths, these side paths. And I just love how you see it and you're like, well, this is the path.
It's what it is.
It is what it is. But I feel like so many of us are so afraid to take that path because maybe we are over-intentional about over-engineering it. We're saying, because you're in the corporate world, right? You have kids. You had a wife or fiance at the time, and it's like,
do I jump?
It must be quite scary to.
Do I jump?
Do I jump? Do I? Right? Or like I got the cushy job. Well, not cushy, but it's like I got the financial secure job.
Every 2 weeks, I got a check.
You get a check every 2 weeks. How do you, because you got two roads there. How do you pick which road?
All paths are designable, sir. It's just up to you. I mean, I said my path wasn't always as wide as it is right now as I bring people on my path. It was narrow. I'm stepping on thorn bushes left and right. It takes time. It takes experience. It takes knowledge. It takes stories. We all have stories. Can you tell your stories? I can. I always tell my stories. Go back to summer camp kids. That's how we identify with each other. You tell me about you. Tell me a story. Something good, something bad, something hurt, something's warm and fuzzy, something funny. I love funny stories. But this didn't just happen, Evan. As most things that are desirable don't just happen. You got to put some effort in it. You got to put some love in it. You got to fall down. You got to get up. You got to share it. You got to bounce it off people. They got to give their opinion. You got to laugh at it and keep moving, because along with the good that comes with it, there are going to be people that are going to try to cut your legs out from under you. I get it all the time. So it's how you weather that. Somebody cut your legs out from under you. What, you going to crawl for the rest of your life? No. I'm going to grow some legs and do it again, but better. Learn your lessons in life.
Is that mentality a born trait, or can you learn that mentality that you have
any open mind is a learning mind. Any open mind is a learning mind. But can you empty it from what you've learned in the past so that you can receive what you got going forward? That's the difference between the folks that command a good life on their path or not.
Yeah, because you can get your legs cut off and then just sit there.
But you gonna curl up? Are you? No. Not if you love your life. You gotta love your life. I fight for my life, man.
You gotta love your life.
Fight for your life. Make it the best life ever.
Do you love your life 100% of the time?
Is there a number you can put on loving your life when it's going your way? I don't know. Because I could walk away from this interview and, be some shit on my table that I gotta contend with. I gotta deal with. What am I gonna do? Love it like it wasn't there.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Yeah. Keep moving positively. Keep moving forward. You get your legs cut out from under you. Yeah, you're walking on nubs for a while, but they heal. And we're all really plant-based creatures. Really. I mean, we're all organic creatures, And why can't we grow legs, regrow legs or arms? Why not? Yeah.
It's all a choice at the end of the day.
It is a choice, Evan Metz.
It's a choice.
Mm-hmm. I choose to be happy. I choose to stop on a bike ride going to work with a guy that had tattoos all over his face, man. He had tattoos all over his face, his arms. He was in a wheelchair, though. And we were coming towards each other. I'm certain he had 4 people pass him by and didn't stop and communicate with him, just talk, right? Well, I stopped. I chose to stop and talk to this cat because he looked like he had a story. And man, by the time I left, he and I were the best of friends. Because I told him, man, get out that wheelchair. Grow some legs, bro. Whatever happened, he got shot and his spine severed his spine. And what I told him after that is, I've heard of people getting out of their wheelchair and walking from that. And I have. I mean, yeah, I'm certain it was a miracle. And he was like, I'd never walk again. I'm like, man, you got to believe you want to walk on the path that you are right now. It's your path. Choose something good. Give him something to work with. chew on. Everybody's telling him, you'll never walk again. So I chose to stop and give him some juice. Yeah, I don't know what his history is, but why not try and change, why he's in a wheelchair in the first place with tattoos all over your face? He had stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What an encounter and experience for you. Because I know for myself, at times in my life, I'm just so much on this one-track mind objective that you can miss all the blessings along the way, all the side roads, all the interesting stories, the stuff that like you're like, you know what? And then that increases your energy, and then you get to share that more with the world.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Blessings are every day, Evan, if you choose to have them. I know you got to open your eyes too. You got to see them. A lot of times they don't look all warm and fuzzy. A lot of times.
Sometimes they're the most challenging things are the biggest blessings. And maybe we don't, as you mentioned, maybe we don't see it at the time.
Yeah.
Have you faced some really big challenges lately?
Gosh, man. I think that's one's perception, because my challenges in comparison may not be attainable for most. Yeah, man, they all are big. Evan, everything that I do, yeah, it's big and it's necessary. And it could be stressful. It could be exuberant. It can be a lot of things. But generally speaking, just like you asked the question, do I have any big things? Generally speaking, yeah. Lots. Every day. Every day. A lot of moving parts. But it's my choice. As, path of life is, again, your choice. Whatever you're on, if you don't like it, change it. And be careful what you speak, especially if you believe in you and your words, because they manifest. They can. I do it all the time. So be careful what you speak into existence and make certain it's good stuff as it pertains to you and others around you. Try not to speak negatives into existence. We get enough of that already. Right?
It's speaking out loud, and also what we tell ourselves in our head along those lines. I've heard Tony Robbins talk about the questions we ask ourselves. So just like we're speaking to ourselves, we ask ourselves certain questions. Let's say we mess up doing something, right? We make a mistake.
You heard what Bruce Lee said once before, right?
What did Bruce Lee say?
Bruce Lee says, never speak negative about yourself. Not ever about yourself. If you choose to speak with negative with someone else, on someone else, that's okay. But limit that as well. But never speak negatives about yourself. It's speaking it into existence.
Yeah. And speaking of that, and also questions, and back to this is like a natural thing that may come up for some people. I've had it for myself too, is you mess up playing a sport, karate, whatever it is, in business. Oh man, why am I such a fuck up? Why did I do that? Why this? Why that? And when you ask that question, your subconscious, your brain is automatically telling you a million reasons. Your brain is going to answer whatever question you ask it. So you can ask it that question, or you could be like, wait a second. And then you could ask a different question. You could ask, okay, what's the next step? How am I making it through this? How am I going to become a better person through this? what is the blessing in this? That's the alternative that we have.
And how to identify them?
I was just making a statement on my interpretation of it.
Yeah.
On just we have the statements, but we have the question aspect too. And we're always posing ourselves these questions, right? We face a challenge and we could start asking ourselves the question, why me? Your brain's going to say, well, this always happens to you. Well, you're a fuck up. Well, you didn't have this growing up. You didn't have that growing up. You were abused. There's a million things that your brain can come up with that have actually happened to you, which in your mind may be valid excuses on why this stuff is happening.
Right.
But it'll perpetuate that same thing over and over.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Setting yourself up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you say degrading words, or even ask or question your abilities, it's going to water it all down. You lose your strength. So listen to Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Listen to Bruce Lee.
Another thing you had mentioned, there was that one action pack where you went 2 minutes. I was like, holy shit, there's a lot in it. Another thing you had mentioned there was your inner child. A kid. Like that I experienced firsthand this summer when we were together, when I was volunteering. Dude, it lit me up, man. Like, this podcast is being created and happening because of summer camp. Dude, that inner child, like, we suppress it so much. We don't let it out. Society tells us, you're a grown man. Sit down, do your job.
Handle your responsibilities.
You got your responsibilities. Sit down, do your job. Provide for your family. And there's no goofing off. There's no childish. That's for children. But dude, you get looked at funny if you walk around with throw a unicorn hat on and just walk around town. But that's the sort of stuff where it's like, you do that stuff and you let your inner child out, and that imagination, dude, it'll set the world on fire if we all just become more like kids. What are your thoughts on that?
Perhaps I should have a summer camp year-round for adults too. So there's a line in a song that I wrote. And it goes kind of like, raise a kid next door and another down the street. Not my kids. But I wrote this song, put the words on paper like years ago, based on all the stories that I have with kids and conversations that I have with parents and other adults that see us traipsing around Springfield and all of Jacksonville, catching the bus and such. And it's easy for me to say, as you said in the beginning of this interview, that I'm father to 100 or hundreds or maybe even 1,000, Don, I don't know. But, I raise a 5-year-old right now, and I got probably 12 other 5-year-olds that come to class, that their parents purposefully bring them to class for what's needed in discipline. Not so much how to kick and how to punch, but the discipline, the dad's voice, the father like energy that they get when they come to class. So it's easy for me to say things like, I've raised a bunch of kids. And those kids became adults. And some of those adults are now coming to karate class and teaching their kids and other kids what they know, what they've experienced in all the time that they've shared. And it feels good to be able to write a line in a song as I recall my life experiences with having children around me, raising children, sharing knowledge. And it is I think, a necessary energy that has to be passed on. And it's being done. It's slow. It's a slow process, but it's being done because the parents that have been under my teaching are still in it, and they're sharing with their kids.
What's that energy that you're talking about that must be shared?
Martial arts. The way of a martial artist, the way of a father, the way of a leader, the way of someone who is experienced enough that can share knowledge, but yet physically able to still climb trees and, have a race with a kid and beat him in the race. Yeah.
How important is that to actually, so there's the aspect of teaching, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not a parent yet. I'm sure there's parents out there that, want their kids to go play sports and do these athletic things and, live the life. How important is it to be there doing that with them?
Well, I mean, it keeps the old knowledge and traditions in the midst of how fast things move nowadays, technology and all, because how fast things move nowadays, kids don't get that personalized discipline, the follow through. And I think that old way of doing things, sitting down and talking to a boy or a girl, not just finding out how'd your day go, but really maybe telling them about my day first. Not really inquiring about their day because that's kind of what everyone does. But I don't know, it change how you do things, personalize things a little more now. Take time, look at things, slow down, grow something, put your hands in the dirt so that you can learn the old ways. When you put your hands in the dirt, you're uploading a lot like what you do on your computer. You're uploading knowledge and energy, positive energy that's necessary that humans don't get enough of because they're not looking up and their heads are down and you got deadlines and schedules and meetings and, kids got a soccer game and, you got to feed them and then bathe them and then they got homework and you got to get up and do it all over again. So you miss stuff. I would suggest slow down. Go back to breathing. Slow your heart rate down. Communicate better. Communicate a little slower and listen more. use your lips less. Just listen. Sometimes, like right now, silence is awesome. It helps you slow things down in your head because you're listening to water moving or birds flying by or chirping, communicating. You know, those things are really helpful in humans. We don't, because of the day and because of where we are in our time and space, we're not good at picking those subtle good things up in life. And a good way to start is just start listening more than versus talking. Right? Cool.
Listening's awesome.
Hmm.
Like we're here right now in this setting, and as you're saying that, I'm listening.
I know you feel what I say, Mr. Metz. Summer camp, I remember we had a conversation, man, just out on Dutton Island. You know, it was all primal and with fire and darkness, and we heard nature, and we talk truth. We talk strength and courage and determination as men, because we were just men around the fire at that time. And kids were running around like Lord of the Flies, right? And, as you said, summer camp set this podcast in motion. Well, podcast is so that you can get the word out. And you and I both have said in our conversations that, man, people got to see this, man. They got to feel it. They got to know it. Yeah, got to touch more people. Here we are. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you, Don.
You're very welcome. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
I'm hungry, man. Let's go.
One more thing. Yeah. With the with this podcast, it really does have a mission behind it to share this, to share these conversations, the things that we learn, right? Because you've spent a long time learning, and you have so much to give. And I feel like with technology, it's been pretty easy for some of the younger generation to get lost in what matters, in priorities, in side paths, in techniques, because the amount of information that's getting blasted towards everyone nowadays is exponentially fast.
And not all that information is
good.
True.
It's true. It's not true.
Truth is so important.
And so it's funny how I'm using that same medium that is causing harm and destruction to bring truth to the world. And I appreciate you coming on and spreading your wisdom and spreading your knowledge and some of these ideas that people can hear, because I don't know how many people get exposed to ideas or someone like yourself. And I feel like every one of us is unique, but I feel like there are people in every community that have that energy and that radiance. And so
certainly.
Something that I want to say to the listeners is something that's been so amazing for me was spending this summer with you. So
thank you.
If I have some advice for the listeners is find someone in your community that you look up to, that you admire, that you respect, that lives out of truth. And go spend some time with them.
Share some time with them. I may be a master instructor in the martial arts, but there's masters all over the world in different aspects of life. Just how much time have you shared in which you're good at? You can call yourself a master. If you're good at it and you're sharing it as instruction for others to do better. And especially if you the seniors in the world, there's a few baby masters out there too, in a bunch of different realms. But the true masters of life, they know that when they're on their paths, they're happy that they're on the paths that they're on. And so whatever comes on that path, it's theirs, and they're thankful for it. It doesn't belong to anyone else. So you utilize it as best you can. You maximize it. There's so many ways to do that. So this is what masters do. They live life well.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Let's go eat.
Yeah.